Let's look at more examples of the chain rule. Remember, chain rule comes with three parts. We take the derivative of the external function, leave the internal function alone, and part three is take the derivative of the internal function. In this top left example, we have 3 tangent of 7x. 7x is the internal function, 3 tangent of our angle is the external. The derivative of 3 tangent of an angle is 3 secant squared of that angle. Our angle is 7x. The derivative of 7x is 7. And so when we combine like terms, that's 21 secant squared of 7x. The example at the top right, this is a product of two trigonometric functions. I underline the first function in blue, the second function in orange. When we employ the product rule, we take the derivative of the first function in the product, so that's going to be cosine 2x times 2. That one requires chain rule. Second function you leave the same, plus first function in the product you leave the same, and then times the derivative of the second one. Well, our second function requires chain rule. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Leave the angle the same, times the derivative of the angle. Cleaning all this mess up, the top part, that's 2 cosine squared 2x, because there's a product of two cosines that are identical. That orange negative overrides the plus sign, so now we have a minus 2 sine squared, because they're identical, 2x. The example at the top left of your screen, we have the function defined as 5 secant squared x. With trig functions, if you see a power directly above the trig part between the trig function and the angle, you can bring that out. That secant squared x can be written as secant x quantity squared. This helps it look a little bit more chain rule friendly. When we take our derivative, the external derivative will be 10x, well, secant x for us, but the internal function, and when we take 1 off our power, we have a 1 that we don't have to write. So we have 5 times 2 is 10. Take 1 off the power, there's an unwritten 1. Leave the internal function the same, and part 3 is take the derivative of the internal function. The derivative of secant x is secant x tangent x. Because there's 2 secants, I went ahead and combined them with a power of 2. In the upper right, we have 3 cosine squared of pi t. Remember, pi is a number. I'm going to pull the same trick, and I'm going to take cosine of pi t, and I'm going to square all of it. It needs to be in parentheses so that all of it is considered squared, not just the angle. Derivative of the outside, that's 6. A new power of 1. Leave the internal function the same. And then finally, the derivative of the internal function, that's negative sine. Leave the angle alone, times the derivative of the angle. The derivative of pi t is pi. Again, pi is a constant. Putting it all together, we have a negative 6 pi cosine pi t sine pi t. At the bottom left of your screen, we have the trig function cosine of 3x. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Leave the angle the same. Part 3, take the derivative of your angle. That's negative 3 sine 3x. Bottom right, we have a function 3 sine of 6 pi x. Derivative of the external part is 3 cosine. Leave the angle the same. 6 pi is a number, so the derivative of 6 pi x is 6x. Combine your like terms, that's 18 pi cosine of 6 pi x. Let's switch to a couple of functions that involve e. That's probably the most friendly function as far as taking derivatives. The derivative of e to the x is still e to the x. Where chain rule comes in is if your exponent doesn't have just a single letter. For example, when we have the function y equals e to the negative x to the fourth, with e, you'll make a copy. You're going to make a copy of exactly what you see, but you'll also have to chain the derivative of the exponent to the end. And so this becomes y prime equals e to the negative x to the fourth times negative 4x cubed. Most of the time with e's, you'll write, if there's anything extra in the function, you'll write it and put the e at the back. There's no rule says you have to, but most of the time in math, that's what you'll find is the e term will always come second. I'm going to put a little dot there to represent multiplication. Top right, we have a function defined as x squared times e to the negative 3x. This is a product of an algebraic times an exponential. Derivative of the first is 2x. Leave the second part alone. Plus, now we leave the first part alone, and we take the derivative of the second part. Well, again, it's e, so we're going to make an exact copy of what we see times the derivative of the power, which is negative 3. Cleaning this up a little bit, we have 2x e to the negative 3x minus 3x squared. That's where I'm getting that minus 3x squared. And then our exponential part can be tacked on to the end. Top left, we have the function y equals e to the 4x times tangent of 4x. This is a product of an exponential and a trigonometric function. Using product rule, we take the derivative of the first part, that's e to the 4x times 4, leave the second part alone. Now, plus, we leave the first part alone and take the derivative of the second. The derivative of tangent is secant squared. We leave the internal angle alone and then multiply it by the derivative of the angle 4. Cleaning this up, we have 4 e to the 4x tangent 4x plus, don't forget that little 4 out here, 4 e to the 4x secant squared 4x. Top right, we're going to switch over and do a couple involving natural log. With natural log, we have a pretty straightforward derivative. If all that trails the natural log is the x, then it's just a reciprocal, 1 over whatever follows the ln part. If the part behind or to the right of ln isn't just a single letter, whoops, let me take that off. We're still going to take the reciprocal. You just flip it underneath the 1. But if the part trailing the ln has a derivative other than 1, you'll have to chain its derivative to the end. You can create a fraction for the derivative. Whatever follows the ln is going to be your denominator. The derivative of that will be your numerator. This will be an important format when you get to calculus 2. Okay, so let's take a look at our example. We have the natural log of 4x squared plus 3. So when we take our derivative, the first thing you do is create a fraction and you put these terms in the denominator. That's the 1 over u part. So we have 1 over 4x squared plus 3. Now we take the derivative of that, which is 8x. That's the u prime. Putting it together, 4x squared plus 3, that was the initial natural log component, and its derivative is the numerator, and that's that final fraction. And in this video, the last example we'll do, there'll be an additional video coming soon We have the function defined as 2x squared times the natural log of 2x. This is a product of an algebraic and a logarithmic function. Product rule, derivative of the first, that's 4x, leave the second alone, plus, leave the first alone, times the derivative of the second. So this natural log, we're going to have 1 over 2x, it's 1 over whatever trails the ln, times its derivative, which the derivative of 2x is 2. These 2's cancel, and I'm going to cancel a single x from top and bottom. That will leave a 2x when the dust settles. So our derivative is 4x natural log 2x plus 2x.